What I'm about to do here is a little modification to my hive. I'll be adding this to the bottom. It'll be on top of the stand, but underneath the first box. And this is called a slatted bottom board. And this will be at the front with this landing inside there. And these rungs will be underneath the 8 frames that are in that box. And it creates a void in the bottom where the bees can kind of hang out. As the weather's getting warmer and as the bees need to work to dry and dehydrate the nectar to make honey, a lot of times at nighttime, bees are camping out on the outside of the hive. They just hang out on the outside of the entrance. This will create more room on the inside for those bees to hang out. The reason they do that is to create more room for ventilation. So it's not that it's overcrowded, but it just aids in the ventilation. By adding this, they can still aid in the ventilation without having to leave the hive. It'll allow the bees to more readily cool the hive and dehydrate the honey in the summertime, and it'll also help to keep it warm in the winter. So there's it's actually probably 10 good reasons to add this to the hive, and I wasn't that familiar with them when I started out. I would have already been on there, but we'll be adding that. And then this box right here, which is not made out of cedar like everything else is, I'll be taking that box out, moving those frames into a cedar box and replacing it. So something a little more suited for the weather and something I've treated. This one here was never treated. I threw it in here in kind of a hurry. So it came straight from the store and right into the hive, and it's getting moisture damage already. So we'll be taking it out of the hive and replacing it with a nice cedar one that matches the others. So that said, I'm gonna get to work. Ooh. Oh yeah. There's my girls. Oh boy. Climb down inside there. Smoke helps me to happen. More smoke in there. They're definitely starting to panic here because the bear is taking their hive apart. For all intents and purposes. Squishy. Oh goodness. Wow, that's heavy. Yeah, it's full of honey. Crazy heavy. It's a good thing. It's a very good thing. My first time lifting one full of honey like that. Probably between 60 and 80 pounds of honey in that box. I'll hurt you. Chance of accidentally squishing her. See all these bees on the bottom here. They need some place to go. And that is what this is going to help with. squish you. We are on our way. And get this new top box installed. You see, oh, sorry lady, no, 1B down. Notice that the top box here doesn't match the lower one, and that's because this one's been treated with tung oil. The rest of the hive has not, but it's gonna be. It's all gonna match before long. Tore open some honey cells. We are now dripping honey. You can see that? Honey dripping, because I broke open a bunch of cells. It's okay, they will get right to work fixing that. They will salvage that honey. Good to see though. Honey's a good thing. This honey that we're seeing right now is honey not for me, but honey for them. That's what they'll be eating this winter. This. Let's see it. I need to be careful because the queen could be on here. But this has 8 pounds of honey in it. It's very heavy. It's completely capped and ready for them for this winter. Another frame almost completely full of honey on this side, both sides. It's a good thing. Wonderful. Just amazing. Just amazing. Wow. So on this frame we have honey and we have brood. And that tells me that the queen could very well be on this box, in this frame. You never really know where she's going to be. I'm going to estimate we have easily 30,000 girls in here now. Easily. This is a very full hive. It's wonderful news. Whew. Another really heavy frame. A good 8 pounds again, easily. Another full frame. Wonderful news. This is the tight one. This is the last one. So now, we want to get all these girls back into the lower hive, which can be a trick in itself. I have to do something else. The old frame shake here. That definitely makes some of them go airborne. mission accomplished. And I need to inspect myself very well before I go in the house, but I'm sure I probably still have a couple of them hiding on me, but they were not happy about that. But I got to discover in the process how the inside of the hive is looking. And man, let me tell you, they have probably 100 pounds of honey stored in there. Safe to say, 100 pounds of honey stored in there to get them through this coming winter. And they are working in that top box, which will be my honey, and they will still have that 100 pounds for themselves later to get them through the winter, so I don't have to feed them. And that's good news. So way beyond my wildest dreams. Never expected. What started out as a 5-frame nuke. When I bought them, not even 3 months ago yet, 2.5 months ago, roughly. I started out with 5 frames of bees, and now we have 8, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22 frames solid with bees, loaded with honey, loaded with brood, loaded with eggs, loaded with everything that they need to be a thriving colony. It's fantastic. So here we are the next morning, and bees are happy. Weather's a little cooler today, at least so far, and the activity is a little less than it was yesterday, but the new entrants, they seem to be liking it. And here's a stick laying there. I'll tell you about that in a second. Now, this is the box I removed last night, and you can see there's the burr comb that was attached to the inner wall that caused that honey to spill out. There's still honey in there. It's being robbed out by yellow jackets and ants right now, but I'll scrape this all clean here in a little bit. And you can see that orange propolis around the ends of the frames. That's the bee glue I keep referring to. But anyway, there it is. Now, when I came out earlier to look at this, one of my girls was stuck right there. She was glued into that and she couldn't get loose. And so I very carefully freed her, and her legs were all glued together. And I got her on a stick, and that's the stick that you saw laying in the entrance of the hive there. And I went and I carefully laid her on there, and a bunch of other bees came out, and they all went to work chewing away the propolis and getting her freed. So they rescued her. They did what I couldn't do, but it's kind of neat to take her over there and give her back to her colony and let them finish getting her cleaned up. So bees do work together. All right, and that's it. That's all she wrote on this episode. So as always, be kind, be safe, and be happy. I want to talk to you for just a moment about the honeybee stinger. Now, a little picture that I'm going to throw right up here shows a microscopic photo of a sewing needle alongside a honeybee stinger, and you can see the difference in size. The bee stinger is definitely smaller, sharper, has little barbs on it, and you see it actually has 2 halves to it there. And the way it works is that there's a little bulb with a muscle in it and a chamber holding the venom, and when the bee stings human skin and most other mammal skin, that stinger gets lodged into the skin, and when the bee tries to get away, it rips out. She's done. She goes and she dies. Her entrails come out. It's sad, but what remains behind is not just the stinger. It's the bulb and the little muscle, and it beats like a little heart, continuing to pump venom even though it's detached from the honeybee. She's gone. She's dying, but that thing is pumping away like just a little thump, 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 thump. And every time it thumps, those 2 little barbed pieces shift back and forth, and it burrows deeper and deeper into your skin as it continues to inject the venom into the sting. And it's very interesting. And the reason I'm bringing this up right now is because I had a contest going for guess where my first bee sting would be, and it just happened about an hour ago. And lucky I'm not puffing up or anything. I wasn't sure if I would, but so far no reaction to it other than just the fact that it hurts right where the sting happened. But and it's my own fault. A bee crashed into me, and I had a knee-jerk reaction to kind of smack her, which stupid. I shouldn't be doing that, especially at this stage. But here it is, day 77. Day 77, and I got my first bee sting. And I'm going to show you. Right on that little cartilage flap in your ear called the tragus. The tragus. Tragus. And she flew into my ear. It was very loud. And naturally I was like, what the hell? And that reaction is what got me stung. And the stinger stayed in there until I got all the way into the house, into the bathroom mirror to look and see where it was at. And it was still sticking into my ear, pumping away. So anyway, there you have it. And if I'm not mistaken, the person who guessed the closest was the person who said that I would get stung on my left cheek of my face. And I think that was Misty. So congratulations, Misty Butcher. Eventually, when I get some honey, I will figure out how to package it up and ship it to you. So there you have it, my first bee sting on the tragus of my left ear. So, all right.